Nearly 2,800 years ago, a blind poet named Homer penned two of the greatest stories ever told. The Iliad and the Odyssey weren't just epic poems, they were the blueprint for every tale of war, honor, betrayal, and tragedy that followed. At their heart, the Trojan War, a conflict born from divine vanity, reckless love, and a single arrow to the heel. This is how Troy fell. Before Greece was united, before Rome was even a whisper, stood Troy, a wealthy and powerful city with walls said to be built by the gods themselves. Ruled by King Priam and Queen Hecuba, Troy was a thriving empire. Among their 100 children, none stood taller than Prince Hector, Troy's greatest warrior, noble and unshakably loyal. But fate had a cruel sense of irony, because it wouldn't be Hector or any army that doomed Troy. It was his younger brother, Paris. Before Paris was born, a prophecy warned Hecuba, "This child will bring Troy to ruin." Unwilling to kill her own son, she ordered a shepherd to abandon him, but the shepherd spared him, raising him in secret. Paris grew up far from the palace, a simple shepherd, destined to start a war that would burn empires. Across the Aegean Sea, Zeus, king of the gods, seduced Queen Leda in the form of a swan. From her eggs hatched 4 children, but one would change everything: Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world. When she came of age, kings and warriors from across Greece came to win her hand: Agamemnon, Odysseus, Ajax, and more. To avoid civil war, Odysseus proposed a pact. All suitors would swear an oath to defend whichever man Helen chose. She chose Menelaus, prince of Mycenae, and they became the king and queen of Sparta. But the oath was a ticking time bomb. Meanwhile, atop Mount Olympus, the gods were celebrating a wedding. All were invited, except Eris, goddess of discord. Furious, she crashed the party, tossing a golden apple marked to the fairest. 3 goddesses claimed it: Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. To settle the dispute, Zeus passed the decision to a mortal, the shepherd Paris. Each goddess made an offer. Hera promised him power, Athena unmatched wisdom in war, Aphrodite the love of the most beautiful woman on earth. Paris chose love. He gave the apple to Aphrodite, and she sent him to Sparta. Paris arrived in Sparta. Aphrodite worked her magic, and Helen fell for him. Together, they fled, sailing back to Troy under the cover of night. Menelaus returned to find his queen gone, and rage boiling in his veins. He invoked the sacred oath. Across Greece, warriors answered the call, and so began the march toward the greatest war in ancient history. The kings of Greece assembled: Agamemnon, ruler of Mycenae and the commander of the Greek forces; Odysseus, the cunning king of Ithaca; Nestor, the wise elder of Pylos; Diomedes, fierce and young, king of Argos; and Achilles, the invincible prince of Paphili. Achilles, destined to die young or live forgotten, was hidden by his mother to protect him. But Odysseus saw through the disguise. He tricked Achilles into revealing himself, and the hero chose glory. The Greek fleet set sail, but the winds vanished. To restore them, Agamemnon made a horrible choice. He sacrificed his daughter Iphigenia to please the gods, and the winds returned. For 9 years, the Greeks besieged Troy, but its walls never fell. Achilles led brutal raids across nearby cities, claiming Briseis as his prize. Agamemnon took another woman, Chryseis, but refused to release her, angering Apollo, who unleashed a plague. Forced to give her up, Agamemnon stole Briseis from Achilles in revenge. Furious, Achilles withdrew from battle. Without him, the Greeks began to falter. To end the bloodshed, Paris and Menelaus agreed to a duel. Whoever won would take Helen and end the war. Menelaus easily overpowered Paris, until Aphrodite intervened, whisking him away to safety. The war continued, with Achilles refusing to fight. His closest friend Patroclus donned his armor to rally the Greeks. Seeing Achilles' armor on the battlefield, the Trojans panicked. Hector faced him and killed him. But when he removed the helmet, it wasn't Achilles, it was Patroclus. Achilles was shattered, fueled by grief. Achilles rejoined the battle with divine armor forged by Hephaestus. He chased Hector around the city 3 times before killing him, ignoring Hector's final plea to return his body. He dragged Hector's corpse behind his chariot, parading it for all of Troy to see. Only when King Priam begged on his knees did Achilles finally return the body. Even warriors have hearts. But fate wasn't done. Paris, aided by Apollo, shot an arrow into Achilles' only weakness, his heel. The hero fell, white as snow. But Odysseus had one last trick. He built a giant wooden horse hollowed inside, hiding warriors like himself, Menelaus and Ajax. The Greeks pretended to sail away. Trojans found the horse. Cassandra screamed it was a trap. They didn't listen. That night, the Greeks emerged from the horse, opened the gates, and Troy burned. King Priam was butchered in his temple. Hector's son was thrown from the walls. Andromache taken as a slave. Cassandra, defiled in Athena's temple, would later be murdered by Agamemnon's jealous wife. After 10 years, Troy fell, but one survivor escaped, Aeneas, son of Aphrodite, destined to found Rome.
From a golden apple to a burning city, from prideful gods to grieving fathers. The Trojan War wasn't just a battle, it was a warning that when love, pride, and fate collide, even the strongest walls can fall. Subscribe for more timeless stories, myths, wars, and legends that shaped our world.